Welcome back to Highwayman Trucking and My Way on the Highway. Just wanted to do a quick little video here talking about some good brokers and bad brokers. And I want to call upon any of you out there that are driving, whether you own the company or not, to start calling out the bad brokers. If you see it, call it out, put it out there for the rest of us so the rest of us can be leery of them, keep an eye on them. I think this is how we're going to start putting them in check. Pulled the load board this morning. I booked a load yesterday. I was up in Salt Lake City going back home. Not a bad load. It's a Landstar load. Easy load as far as loads go. Tarp job. The rate was right at about $1.60 a mile. So not horrible by any means for standards right now. Because it was Landstar and I'm not a Landstar BCO, just an approved carrier, I know there was a lot more money left in the load, but still it was fair, and got to give Landstar credit for that. Another thing, I'm going to be giving props first before I tear them apart, so stay tuned. A company that got really bad reviews, I watched a video a couple of weeks ago, was Trinity Logistics. And they actually had an employee that came out, and an alleged employee rather, on another channel, and did an interview saying how bad they were ripping people off. Now, I've ran a couple of loads for Trinity Logistics, and didn't really keep track of what the rates were, so I had to go back and look at my paperwork. I was always pleased with their runs, and I did a run for them a week ago that went from Phoenix to the Scottsdale area to Las Cruces, New Mexico, which is right at about 435 miles. And that load was $1,100, no tarp. So that was a really good rate for any time, let alone right now on that lane. So haven't had anything bad from them yet, so I've got to give them props and credit. As far as I've been involved, they've been good to me as well. So, of course, the next one from them could be bad, who knows, but what I can speak on, two good companies so far. Had a third good load that I delivered yesterday, and I'm going to do a separate video about that for any of you that ever haul for this particular company, the shipper receiver rather, but so I got to pull forward here in line, waiting to take a quick break here once I get ahead of the fuel pump. But Global Trans, had a really good load from Global Trans yesterday. It was a light load. It was about 170 mile deadhead from home, and 680 loaded miles, and that paid $1,500. So that was a pretty decent load, certainly for the time. So got to give Global Trans prop for that. Three good companies that I ran for lately, and really happy with. A company that I have seen on the load board recently that is taking advantage of you all and really screwing the pooch is King of Freight. Yes, I'm going to throw their name out there, King of Freight. I have only ever hauled one load for King of Freight, and it was a partial load, so kind of hard to judge whether the rate was good or bad, but at the time it was okay for a partial. I do remember there being a huge issue with the broker. The directions were bad, and he was telling me to go one place, and I'm like, dude, I can't get a truck in there. And he basically told me to park about 2 miles away and walk in, and I told him where to go. But anyhow, I got the load delivered ultimately. Now, King of Freight does not do any kind of quick pay whatsoever at all. And for as big of a company as they are, and as growing as they are, I think that's a little odd that they don't do any type of quick pay. And right now, as I said before, because of the uncertainty in the market and the times, I'm only hauling loads on quick pay, and I'll take the percentage loss rather than wait 60 or 90 days, which is what a lot of these companies have sent out emails stating that due to the virus and the slowness of freight, they're going out on their terms. So I'm only hauling and getting paid, and yes, it could be 3, 4, 5%, but that's what I choose to do to protect myself and not have any of these companies go out of business on me and so forth. But King of Freight, I got their load delivered. I mean, next day it was a speedy load. It was a pain in the butt, but it was speedy. I did my job. It took those sons of bitches over 2 months. I think it was like 68 days is what it came out to be to pay me. And that was on net 30 terms. So I was pissed off from the start. I called them to make sure they received the paperwork. Oh, we received it. You know, blah, 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 blah. 30 days rolled around, didn't hear from them. Called them at about 40. Oh, we'll get it out to you, blah, blah, blah. And it was just one excuse after another. So that was a negative aspect on the one and only load I've ever hauled for King of Freight. Now, I'm watching their loads where I go, and they do a lot of business out of the Phoenix area. And the rates they're given for guys going to California is absolutely ridiculous. It's asinine. It's $1, sometimes less a mile. And I guarantee you the freight's not down that low. These are their regular customers, and watch out for them. I see them. They're taking advantage of you on the load boards for sure. You know, there's just a ton of bad companies out there, and I think if we each talk about them when we come across them and we put it out there, then we should unite. Don't use them. I mean, unless you absolutely have to, you've got sick family and you got to get home or something like that, don't use these guys. Make a video, comment, share it with other drivers, owner-operators, your experience with these brokers. Let's weed out the bad. Let's uplift the good. Let's start using the good and let them know, hey, look, you guys are known for fair rates. And if they start slipping, then you freaking ban them too. And that's part of the checks and balances that we need as company owners, drivers, owner-operators to ensure our livelihood and, really promote good freight out there and help one another. That's what this needs to be about. It needs to be about helping one another, shining the light on the bad guys and the good guys. And let's unite, truckers. As always, take care and God bless America. Talk to you soon.